Well, good morning. Yes, you caught me just coming from the works canteen, having had my early morning biscuit. I do admire those people who get up and get the works canteen going at this hour of the morning. In a television station like this, guess who it is? So I stole one of my own biscuits. Good morning. Keith Hayes with Mirador Radio and Television. Actually, the radio gets going again next week. So for this past week, and recently it's been Mirador Television. And we broadcast from Lewes, the southeast of England. I keep on wanting to say the south coast, but it's not quite. We're 5 miles inland from the coast and from the sea. We stretch from the towns of Battle to the edge of the city of Brighton and all the small communities in between. And we call ourselves Terrific TV. Why not? Nobody else will. Terrific TV for tiny towns. And we try hard to reflect what's going on in various parts of our patch. But we're also cognizant of being local doesn't mean to say that you've got to be parochial. And as a consequence, we do look at things that are happening overseas in the rest of the country and try to put them into context. One of the things that I think that is starting to happen, and it's always a triumphalism, I think, if you start to yell about things before you're sure they're going to work. But one of the things that is happening nationwide, and actually in the certainly English-speaking world, and I suspect in other parts of the world as well, is that when you get a retreat of local media, you get an increase in the inefficiency and sometimes honesty of local councils. You also get a more expensive council. Your tax gets bumped up. And although we don't fill the role left, not for their own fault, by the BBC and by the Sussex Express and other publications in our area, it's not their fault. It's the economy is just forcing that sort of thing on media, and it's never going to change, particularly with the advent of the internet, which we use, of course. But that doesn't mean to say that local politicians and politics and decisions shouldn't come under a deep scrutiny. Now, a small TV channel such as ourselves can't do that. We don't have the resources. But what we can do is to start to cooperate with other smaller entities to see whether between us we can provide a good watchdog for local media, for local government. And we keep, I've met with Mick Symes of the Lewes Present Facebook group. I've had one or two backward and forward messages with people who run other groups in Newhaven, Seaford, Hailsham, Uckfield, and undoubtedly will soon be talking to people in Battle and Hastings and Eastbourne. Now that way, with the information they garner by contributors to their web groups, which can be anything from, can you tell me where I can find a decent barber, to have you seen my cat? But also in between, people report on what they see as they in their daily lives and as they walk through their streets. And sometimes they are the trigger to get us to ask questions about what's going on. So Mick Symes and the other people that run Facebook groups are doing a terrific service. And those people who think, oh, well, I don't want to join a gossip, join, because you don't have to look at everything. But it does give you an opportunity that if you think that there is something wrong or something amiss or you don't understand something, you can tap in. And eventually that feeds through to us. we make a commotion. Town and County magazine, fairly new kid on the block, but now beginning to run faster and faster. They are quite prepared to take up real issues if they're brought to their attention. And perhaps more important than us all is the Facebook page, the web page, Lewis Eye, where at least one very good investigative journalist is at work, and I suspect that possibly even a team, because what they come up with is absolutely superb stuff and very detailed stuff. And that is required because it gives us an opportunity at Mirador Television and at Rouser Radio to start creating a stink so that action takes place. So is this a new form of local media? As I say, let's not be triumphal about it, but I would like to think that it is, and I would like to think that this, once again, that Lewis is in the forefront of governance. After all, we had the Battle of Lewis in 1264, which is going to be recreated in May. Keep an eye open in media, and the local bits and pieces that let us know what's going on, because that's going to be a good one. A recreation of the Battle of Lewis in 1264, which was the start, credited start of English democracy. So that's number one. Number two is that we have a vote in 3 weeks' time, May the 2nd, that's right, Saturday, May the 2nd. And today, April the 12th, is the last day for you to register to vote in that. Now, I would urge you to do so. For some reason, we all go to sleep for local elections, and so we get what we ask for, if you like, and then we complain for 4 years that we've got a rotten council. Well, you know, it's only up to us whether we get a rotten council or not. Here is an opportunity to get out there and vote, and to vote sensibly, and to ask questions. Because what's going on in Westminster, which is very unseemly, can and sometimes does happen at a local level. So change is required, but change will only take place if there is momentum for it, and that momentum comes from citizens. And the first step is to make sure that we get a healthy vote. The average up and down the country is below 35%. And yet if it all happens on a national election day, a general election day, and we're asked to vote for a local council on the same day, it jumps to about 70%. In other words, we are bloody lazy when it comes to local elections, and we shouldn't be, because they have as much impact on our lives as anyone else. So remember the spirit of 1264. Get out and vote, because a lot of people died, a lot of men died, in their thousands at the Battle of Lewis, and some of their deaths were particularly painful. If you were hit by a broadsword, it didn't kill you necessarily straight away, but it damaged what was inside you. And so you went away and you died from the damage that the broadsword had done, and you sometimes perhaps must have wished it had lopped off your head. So a lot of people did die for that. Now, let us also yes, I'm sorry, I'm starting, and I'm sure that those of you who saw my extra little program yesterday on laughing a lot, you must think, no, he's not going to do it again, and I hope that I'm not. But the day after the election, and if you actually get out there and think in terms of posting a vote, putting an X on a ballot and putting it into a box, and bother to do so, then you may think, well, at least I'm beginning to participate in local elections. But the next day, you can participate in something that is a much, much wider brief. And that is world, yes, world, you're invited to take part in a world effort, global day of laughter. It's World Laughter Day. And, the people who appreciate most, I think, is laughter, is those of us who have an illness that laughter may just be, if not a cure, at least a contributor to slowing it down. Because laughter is known clinically to be able to help. If you laugh a lot, it does actually help the body physically, but certainly it helps the mind to be able to push away the naughty things that are happening. Now, I don't think I have to keep telling you I've got Parkinson's, and along with a couple of pals who have got 2 other different diseases, is we do get a bottle of wine to help us, but we just laugh at these damn diseases. We laugh, and it really is the only way. You've got to laugh at them, and you've got to put them to flight. And I'm happy to say that, at my grand old age, that laughter comes fairly easy, particularly if you read some of the ridiculous things that are going on around you. I just took a very quick look through the funny news, the strange news this morning, and the spoon bender, the mystic, claims that he was the one that made sewage his leak through the House of Commons ceiling onto the chamber below, where people were getting their knickers into a right twist over Brexit. if he did, and of course, one of the things I have is short-term memory loss. So for the moment, I can't remember his name, and of course, the moment we go off the air, I will. So I do apologise for that, but everybody knows who I am. He goes like that with a spoon, and the thing bends. But if that was the case, then I think that he the country a lot of good. But it's those sort of odd stories you can look at if you take your time between all the horrific headlines, and it can help bring a giggle to your lips. Now, it is Friday. That's another reason for a giggle to come to the lips. If you can struggle through today, you've got a couple of days coming up in which we can actually not worry about the world's affairs before we launch back in on Monday morning. I know when I worked at Reuters, quite often we'd go through the newsroom, and those people who had to work on the weekend, they would say, good night, it's Friday, but don't worry, Monday's not far behind, which really bucked up your spirits. But anyway, laughter, National Laughter Day, World Laughter Day. When you get up on Sunday, try to laugh. Try to have a little giggle. I think I might well on Sunday, because it's Palm Sunday, and I shall be involved in a special Palm Sunday service at my church. But after that, I think I shall go to the pub, and I shall start to laugh. And I think I might just dip in and out on Mirador television throughout the day just to show that we are laughing, and that National Laughter Day really is worthwhile from a physical point of view, a medicinal point of view. So it's 6 o'clock. First of all, remember this is your last day to register to vote in the local elections. Please do so. Let's see if we can bump it up to over at least 50% of people who turn out this year in local elections, instead of the 33% or 34%, which is a miserable figure up and down the country. Secondly, the Battle of Lewes, 1264, to be recreated in May in Lewes. A real key moment in English history when democracy started. And then let's remember how to cure ourselves and perhaps help others with National Laughter Day. All you got to do is think Brexit. I know that so many people are wound up about it, but what's going on has got to be laughable if the consequences weren't so severe. But the other thing that always makes me chuckle is when you get a letter in from the local council which says customer first. That's going to be the funniest thing, I think, in a lifetime in the media that I've ever seen. Customer first from Lewes District Council. Oh, but I got to say thank you to them because they're helping me cure my Parkinson's. But bet they never thought of that when they sent out their nasty letters. Oh, and they love to get rid of me. Oh dear. Toodle pip.